In your native country, there is currently the process of Brexit. Could you explain what is frictionless trade?
So Brexit has become very interesting because the government is talking about frictionless trade post-Brexit. So in other words, to trade with other countries once it's left the European Union. Frictionless trade is basically digital, streamlining the processes. So this could be down to your import-export duties, licensing at the ports, speeding up the process instead of filling out paperwork, tracking and tracing from factory to end consumer.
Recently, the European Union negotiators say that technology doesn't exist or being tested. What is your thoughts about this? Is it really so?
Well, I believe in 2017 he received from one of his advisors, or some of his advisors, a 40-page document outlining technology for solving this problem around the discussion of frictionless trade. So the question is it existing? Does it exist? Well, there is already technologies which are in play. For example, Azerbaijan, they have integrated into their fiscal office for their taxonomy systems, and that's for internal use currently. They are labelling alcohol, cigarettes.
In Azerbaijan?
In Azerbaijan. And I think very soon, in December, I think they're going to be starting with pharmaceuticals. Where frictionless trade comes into play, from a national perspective, you're able to see from factory to end consumer, track it all the steps along, so you can authenticate where the goods have come from. So it could be raw materials, it could be a cow. It's from where it's come from the farm to the slaughterhouse to the butcher. If you're importing and exporting, well, again, it authenticates the items where they've come from.
Okay, thank you for this. And how do you think, or could you give us an example how this technology could be used for Moldova?
Well, for Moldova, a good area would be, let's just use wine as an example. Moldova is trying to grow its exports in wine. Yeah. So just with the UK, for example, the UK drinks a lot of wine. By streamlining the process, it would make it easier for the UK to import such wine, authenticate the wine. It's very important to authenticate the wine because if you look at the Chinese, the Asian markets, there's a lot of fake alcohol. You can actually get a lot of fake vodka, fake whiskey, and these are actually quite a lot generated in Eastern European countries. They just have another label on top.
But how do you think, is it good for expensive products or any products?
Any product.
Any products. So technology by itself, it's not so expensive?
From the perspective of the actual item for the businesses, no. It's a fraction of cost per item. So if you think about pharmaceuticals, there's always problems with fake pharmaceuticals. If you have it authenticated by the box, the item, inside that box you may have 24 little boxes. Yeah. Inside that box you can now have a pallet. So you have how many in the pallet? Then the pallet is in the container. So you're able to label from the item to the box to the pallet to the container. So you're able to always authenticate these products. So on one side it counters fraud, counterfeit goods. For businesses, it streamlines their tax systems, so it's not as complicated. The fiscal office is happy because they're able to authenticate their taxes. The border control, it makes their job much more easier because such a mechanism enables spot checks much more easier. So if you have a suspicious company, you know what you are actually targeting if you want to check it. And it's that easy to check that you can actually use a mobile phone and scan the actual code, and you can see where it's come from and if the taxes etc. have been paid, if it's gone through a distribution depot. So it's not that complicated. It covers various elements for the government and it also covers for consumers. So it depends on if you're happy to pay tax or not happy to pay tax or customs and duties. So if you're a legitimate business and you're able to streamline your process with your customers for your import-export, for example, it's an ideal solution.
Okay. And how do you think, what the case with wine, how you use blockchain in this case, I mean, with a bottle of wine, where you put this code or how you do that?
Well, you're not using blockchain in this. This is just simple.
Yeah.
You can use blockchain, but it's not specifically required. Everybody talks about blockchain, but that is not the main thing. With frictionless trade, it does not have to be, it's not set to a specific technology because everything changes. You've also got to be careful of cybersecurity. The companies which are on the system, they have to protect their data, their customers' data, yeah, their logistics data. The main thing is best case example is Azerbaijan, a company called E21 Partners. Yeah. It's implemented into the Fiscal Office. For Brexit, that would be an ideal solution. But when you're dealing with governments and politics and debates on leaving a union, there's far more important things than worrying about certain technologies.